Hello, Mr. Stitch. I really appreciate you having me. Again, my name's Braxton Rainey, and your Stitch golf rep, and actually was on your side of the counter pretty recently as the lead assistant at a club in Atlanta and at Capital City Club. So very familiar with your side of the counter. And it's funny, I was actually in our meeting when I got sort of approached about the job. Leading into it. So I was currently at that time buying Stitch at the PGA show, and here we are as the rep. So very excited to be here. The shop looks great, and just would appreciate the opportunity having me today. So. What I'd like to do is kind of just go over a few things here today, and we have our catalog here in front of me. It's an incredible layout for your convenience, really, as the buyer. Being on your side of the shoes and being in your shoes, I understand how the back and forth on a catalog can be. And to me, this is the best catalog I've seen when it comes to the layout and different things that we approached and the details that we put into it. So really hope you take the time to kind of go through it and with me, and look forward to hearing your feedback. So what I'd like to do, is kind of give you this catalog. So as you can see, you open up here to the front, and we have our summer fall catalog. So most of this will ship right around 6:15 or so. So that's what the time frame that we're looking at. How many shipments do you normally do throughout the year? About three. Okay. So you do about three shipments. You're looking at about a 6:15, a 9:1, and maybe some outerwear. Gets a little cooler later in the year. Would you say about 10:1 or so? Is that right? Okay. Great. Well, be happy to as we get into the merchandise, we can write up the order today, and takes the pressure off of you going forward as well as the appointments that I have later this week. We can make sure that we kind of get it done with and mark it off the list. Just one less thing to do for the rest of the week. So how does that sound? Sounds great. Perfect. Well, like I said, this catalog's laid out for your convenience, and like to open up here to the first page. And what we have here is kind of our details page. This really illustrates what we here at Stitch are all about, and that is the details. That's where the name came from. It's the details to the final stitch. And so we want to make sure that we do our best to, have all of those details, the smallest of details in our product. And you'll see that throughout the line from the apparel all the way to the accessories. So this little acronym kind of just gives a little feedback there. We want to elevate your expectations with surprise elements in all products. We want to always focus on inspiring others and special. That's how we want to make you feel. So those are just a few of the little details there in the acronym that we want to make sure we do. So whether that's traveling to a golf trip with buddies or whether it's playing at your home club, we want to make sure that those details are there. So this catalog is laid out in 5 categories, and that's what I would like to do today, is to go over those 5 categories. We have everything from events and the event experience with our inside team. We have our Stitch merchandising with apparel, and then all of our the bottoms program that we have. And then as well as we go into golf bags, and we go into head covers, which is where the company really started with the leather head cover. And then we lean right into to the accessories, kind of travel packages and things that might be perfect for events, or it might be just to have in your shop that really kind of display and really merchandise your whole Stitch presentation in your shop. So first, Mr. Stitch, I would say that you're really accustomed when it comes to events is it's really focused around probably one product, so to speak. Would you say that's right? Yeah. So, at a club that I used to work at, we would always just say, what, that looks like a great one. Oh, that looks like a great one. So we would just pick out, a different, product from a different vendor every year, just to kind of keep it going. So at Stitch, what we do is we kind of focus on the experience. It's not necessarily what the product is, but what experience do you want that event to have? Everything between your men's invitational, your member guest, your members throughout the year, even your couples and your juniors events, there are different experiences for each event. And that also leads to different budgets, which we'll highlight here. But this event experience will kind of highlight what we are what at Stitch we're all about when it comes to events. So I would like to go ahead and flip to this first page here in the event experience. It's an order form, and this order form, you'll get used to it throughout the catalog. But what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is to go ahead and rip this out. All right, I appreciate that. And what I'd like to do is to highlight some of the events that maybe you have not gotten a T-gift for, and then we can circle back on some ones maybe that you already have, and we'd like to discuss those. How does that sound? Okay, great. Well, what are some of the events at your club that we can maybe focus on as far as the budget and everything like that? Give me your first event that you don't have a product for. Member guest, okay. And what's the date around that? September, okay. First weekend, you said? Great. And number of players? 92, okay. Great. And what's the budget for that event usually? Depends on the food and beverage, yeah. All right. Well, so you're looking around, we said 120, 125. All right. So I'll put that. And what have you done in the past for this event, Mr. Stitch? Okay, so you've done some microsites and some. Okay, so you kind of divvy it up depending on your chairman. You said you had a chairman. Great. Okay. Good. Well, what we're gonna do is I've written those notes down, and what I would like to do is we'll get a few more events here, but this main objective, we have a great inside team. John Kennis, who used to work at Peter Millar, and you've worked with John. Okay, yeah, John's fantastic, and we're happy to have him. And then we have Justin Hood as well. Justin played on the NC State golf team, has a very strong golf background. So he really understands kind of the events, from a player aspect that he can bring to the table as well. So our inside team is second to none. And what they'll do is I'll bring this to them, and they'll be able to reach out, and we'll work hand in hand as to what experience might be best for each of these events. Okay? Yeah. All right. So what's another event that we have? Okay. The junior member guest. That's a newer one. Okay. And the date for that? Yeah, football season's, it's close by, so I understand how you have to maneuver that around, but you said it's middle of October. Okay. October 5th, 16th. Okay. Great. And number of players for that? 92 as well. Great. And the budget, you said, you had mentioned it might be a little lower. 75. Okay. That's still a great budget. Plenty of options there. And then and then you mentioned it's a newer event, so you haven't really done much in the past. Is that correct? Okay, so it's the first year. Okay, great. All right. So what I would like to do now, I've got my notes here. So what I would like to do is kind of go over our four experiences. We have a fantastic events team, like I mentioned, which these four experiences really highlight what we're about here at Stitch. And so this is going to give you a really good insight as to what experience might be best for the events that you chose. So first we have our selected gifting experience, which many clubs are very familiar with. You just kind of pick a product like we said in the past, and we just bring it in, and it's based on your budget, and it's about a 20-day lead time. So 20 business days, before your in-hand date's not too long. And so what we want to try to do is make sure that, you get it in plenty of time. You've sorted out whether you're putting it on carts or whether you're having it on a table. However, whatever's convenient for you. But that everybody would get the same gift, so you're very familiar with that. Next, we have our modified dropship. So our modified dropship, this is a more of an intimate feel. So, you mentioned your junior member guest. It might be a little bit of a newer experience or newer event. So, very, very good possibility right here. But this would, be based on your budget. You would pick out 3 or 4 packages or so. What's that? You want 5 or 6? Well, you can certainly do, 5 or 6. The only problem with that is that we've seen many people, when they have so many options, it's hard to make that decision. We kind of want to make it simple for them. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you have 3 or 4, it makes it a lot easier to pick out what that team or member or member guest what they want in that package. So this would be the packages would basically be laid out on a table at your club the day of the event, the day before, whatever's on your agenda, whatever your itinerary is. And so myself or a person from our events team would come on property. We would have those products laid out, and those members and the guests that come up and talk to you, we'd be able to answer any questions. So you're more of kind of worried about your tournament. So this gives us the opportunity to talk about Stitch and you worry about your tournament. I've been in your shoes. The last thing you need to be thinking about is picking a package for a player. That's us. That's what we're here for. So what we'll do is we'll, get those packages. We'll get them all straightened out. All the packages for the members and their guests. The members would be shipped to their club here, and then the guest product will be shipped to the address given to them, given to us at the event. So we'll ship that and drop that to them. What's that? So it's about 15 to 20 business days after the order's been submitted. So once we have that order in, 15 to 20 business days is out the door and we'll get it to you. Next, you mentioned your microsite. So our microsite experience, it's a very, very hands-off once it's complete, which is very nice for the pro because now he can focus on the event. So this microsite, which you've done in the past for your member guests with Peter Millar, what you're very familiar with, again, a package-based thing where member and their guests are going to go on. They're going to pick their package, what they want. If they want a match for the event, here they are. They can match the shirt, the bottoms, the belt, everything. So, with Stitch and the product line that we have, this allows you to do everything from apparel to the accessories. So depending on your budget, there's a lot of flexibility here as to which packages to choose, which is very exciting if you're a participant. It's a little bit of a longer lead time. It's about 45 to 60 business days in advance just to kind of get the product in and the website ready to go like you want. Might have to change a few things late, but as long as it's ready to go, all you have to do is send it out to your members. The members would click on the link. They're going to pick their package. All of that product will then be shipped to the club prior to the event. So we'll make sure we get the in-hand date from you, and we'll get that product to you in enough lead time. What happens if somebody doesn't get in on the microsite and gets their product? That's a great question. So the next experience would allow that. So Mr. Smith didn't get his package. Okay. Well, Mr. Smith was out of the country. He didn't quite have access to it, so he couldn't get it done. All right. Well, this is going to allow him to be able to make up for that. Our gift card experience. So our gift card experience, what we've seen and what I experienced when I was a club pro is that you kind of start running, last minute ideas out the door, and then this, that, and the other. It leads to, okay, now we only have a month until the event and we don't have a product yet or an event yet, or, the experience, or whatever the case may be. We're not ready yet. Well, this is, either for the smaller budget or the last minute idea. So your budget all in is $50 for an event, let's say. You would receive a $100 gift card to stitchgolf.com. Those would be preloaded, sent to you. You hand them out at the event. The member and their guests would be able to go in on the website, get whatever they want. They have full reign on the website, and they can use their gift card. This allows total reign for them to go in and get what they want. We actually have a quote here from a buyer in North Carolina that she says the gift card has resulted in new demand for Stitch products, and we're already getting special order requests. The process of distribution and redemption of the cards could not have been easier. So what that tells us is that, now that they've gotten this gift card, it might just look like a gift card to people, but at the end of the day, it might be able to help you and your shop with special orders. They go in, they grab a shirt, they go in and they grab a bag. This leads to more revenue and more special orders for you and your shop. So it's a small gift, but it has a big budget. That budget now can be stretched. 25 goes to 50, 50 goes to 100, 75 to 150. So these budgets that might be a little bit smaller for you can now be maximized with this gift card experience. So what we'll do is we'll circle back. What your event, you said you had the member guests. So what experience would you say would be best for that? Okay. Still like the selected gifting. Okay. And we can always, these are just notes, and we can always, circle back and go back and make any changes that we need to. All right. And then for our junior member guests, fairly new event, what experience would you say is best for that? Okay. So you really did like the modified drop ship. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a really more intimate feel. And these guys, you mentioned they're 28 to 35 years old, so it's probably going to be the younger adult side. You have your wives come in for a cocktail party, you said the night before. So I think this is a really fun, intimate way to kind of show the brand, but also, interact with the members and the guests, because myself or a Stitch representative would be on property and handle that, and you worry about your event. Okay. Well, great, Mr. Stitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of this and send it over to John Kennis and Justin Hood and our events team, and they're going to be reaching out to you about these events, because you got a great list of tournaments here, 2 tournaments that really, I think, 2 different budgets, but really can maximize the experience based on our events team and what they'll be able to come up with. So how does that sound if I go ahead and send that over? Is that okay? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'll send that over, and we'll get those in the right hands, and we'll be good to go. Yes, sir. I understand. Yes, sir. All right. So like I mentioned, we have really 2, we have about 5 different categories that we can go over. So our next category that we'd like to discuss today is it's really about the merchandising. And so what I would like to do is, if you don't mind, I'm going to take your catalog. All right, thank you. And I'm going to rip out these order forms because what I have today is I have this set up by style. And so what I would like to do is go ahead and rip out these order forms, and I'm going to make check marks onto which ones you like. And then you have your catalog to make your notes, okay? And this allows us to have that two-way street of open communication. We also have the organization of it this way, and that way, next Thursday when you're tied down with an event or with lessons, this allows me to do my job while you focus on your job. Okay, so how does that sound? Does that sound great? Okay, great. So my goal here is to make it as easy as possible for you. And so what I'm going to do, let me rip this last one out. All right, so now that I have these order forms, what I'd like to do is go ahead and go here to the back. If you'll grab that Polos tab there, we're going to go to the very front of it. And like I said, I'd like to just do this by style. This way, you kind of see the whole line, and you're able to kind of pick out which ones you like from each color, story, and so forth. So what I like to do is I'm going to grab 2 shirts here first. I mentioned details. You're about to see why. So this shirt right here, this is our Not Kill. 4-button. As you can see, here's our little details. Yeah, you like that? So that's just a underbutton collar that we really, it just keeps that collar, staying flat and fresh. You got to pull over. You see Mr. Jones walk in and that collar's flipped up like that. This allows that collar to stay as flat as possible. As you can see, a little stitch branding there on the back. And then we also have a little silicone S there that you can see as well. So this right here is the Not Kill Piqué. And so those are just the small details in that shirt that you see. This right here is our Milano. You like this shirt. This actually right here is one of my favorites. So we'll get into that and the different colors that we have. But as you can see here, color contrast there in the button, and then right there, another little under button, and then what you'll see here is a rounded pocket with the little stitch branding there with the orange tab. So people ask, why the rounded pocket? Well, when you think about a diamond, the more you cut off, the more expensive it is, right? So instead of a squared off pocket, we have a rounded pocket. It's a very, very much a subtle way to show the details to make sure that we're getting the best product for you. All right, so now we've kind of gone over a few of the details here. What I'd like to do is, like I said, go this by style. So what we'll have here is we'll just flip through this and we'll mark our notes as we go, all right? So first up, we have our solid piqué, which I have here in white and stitch navy. Next, we have our solid Oxford. Don't have it in stitch blue and stitch navy, or vintage navy, but I do have it here in clear red. Small little detail there, as you can see, the stitching of the button navy is going to match that neck tape. So just a couple of details there. Silicone there on the back. Very lightweight, great shirt. Next, we have our Sid stripe. This is actually one of our core pieces. So this shirt, it'll fly off the shelf if we're not careful. But this is, a very, simple stripe. But again, those details that really I pointed out at the beginning make this, a really fantastic stripe shirt to put in your shop. So we have it here in stitch navy. We have it there in forged gray. And we also have it in stitch blue. So next we have our Ascari, which we have here in stitch navy, stitch blue, and then claret red. You really like those shirts, Mr. Stitch? Okay. Make note of that. And you said the Sid as well, right? Okay. Great. Fantastic. All right, next we have, I mentioned it earlier, but we have our Not Kill stripe. So here it is in stitch navy, 4-button, and then we have it in stitch blue as well. How do y'all do with piqués? Okay. So probably not your favorite, but I understand. Yeah. So as you can tell when you touch that, it's a fantastic shirt, and it's certainly one that is very popular. But not all. I get all piqués are not for everybody. So next we have our color block, which I have here in Bluebell. Again, rounded pocket there, 4-button.
You'll notice that engineered stripe right across the middle. Straight line, the details in that. You can see the details there on the sides of the pocket. Little stitch, little navy stitching there. So stitch navy and bluebell. Not for everybody. Yeah, I understand that. Well, it's a little bit of a youthful piece, but it's again a great shirt. So next we have our mini track, which I love because you have your stripe like we mentioned with the Sid stripe and the Scary. This stripe shirt is a very subtle heathered stripe, which it's not as in your face. It's like I said, very heathered look. So we have it here in Phantom, in Marina, and then we have it in Stitch Navy. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like I said, the heathered look is it's a great way to show off a stripe without it being too much in your face. So great. I will make note of that you prefer those. All right. So next we have our Milano, which I mentioned earlier with the color contrast in the placket. So what, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Stitch, what exactly do y'all do for events as far as like your uniforms? Do y'all do button down and tie or golf shirts? Golf shirts. Well, I really think this one might be a winner. You can tell me, but I think this shirt right here would be a great for either your outside service team or for an event piece that you have. So we have it in 3 colors. So you pick out your 3 best events of the year, and here's your shirt for the year. So great staff shirt. So we have our Milano stripe. As I mentioned earlier, the color contrasting, and then the pocket there with the stitch branding, rounded pocket. So that's there in Stitch Navy, and we have it in Stitch Blue. And then we also have it, which I like this one a lot, the Forged Gray. That orange really right there just pops. I mean, it really stands out there. Yeah. Great. I will make note of that. And what we'll do is we'll get your size run for your staff, and then that way we can go ahead and get those taken care of today. How's that sound? Great. All right. Moving along, we have our Florence stripe. So this, if we were to do this in a story sense or a look sense, like we have it at the beginning of the catalog, we have 4 looks. And this shirt, to me, really brings out each of those looks. So we're doing this through style. You're going to check off, I'm checking off the ones you like. We'll eventually make these into, more of a color story or a look, how you prefer it. But this shirt really brings out each of those looks. But as you can see, the whole line here in front of you really goes together. So there's no sense of, we got to mix 2 and 3 or 1 and 4. That's okay because they all go together. But this shirt really brings out each of those looks. So here we have our Florence stripe. Feel how soft that is. Yeah, it's about as soft as it can come. So here we have it in Forged Gray. We have it in Claret Red. We have it in Stitch Blue. And then we have it in Marina. Underbutton collar. Great shirt. You like that one as a staff shirt as well? They can all be staff shirts. How does that sound? We'd love to dress you guys up and make you look good. Yeah, it'd be great. All right. It's certainly a newer shirt, but it's been a very popular shirt, so we really like that one. Next, we have our Grand Sport. So our Grand Sport, a little bit of a subtle stripe. We have it here in Forged Gray. We have it here in Bluebell. And then this is our Melon. That's the first orange you liked? That's funny. You're not the first one to say that because our orange is actually, it's that melon color. It's not quite in your face. It's not a, very poppy orange. So, from a distance, you're not, standing out, like the sun. So It's a very, you like that color? Okay. How does orange do here for you in the past? Done okay? Okay, well, I'll make note of that and say that, because there are some clubs that, maybe stand off a little bit on the orange and they see that and they want to bring in a couple. So that shirt really, lets you dive into the orange a little bit and has a little bit of color pop, but not too overpowering. So I'm glad you like that one. This here, to me, we'll get a little bit into our prints now. This, to me, is our best seller. I think this shirt, we always have to try to keep it in inventory, but it seems to do well all the time. So this is actually a jersey with the print. So what we'll have here is our dot. So we have it here in Bluebell. We have it here in Marina. And then we also have it in Vintage Navy. So as you can see, a fantastic shirt. Get a little adjusted here. All right, so great piece, great piece. Yeah, you like those? Okay, great. All right, next we have our rain. Two colors, Stitch Navy, and as I mentioned, that melon. It's back up again. You like those? Okay. Not a big fan on the dot, which, it's not for everybody. It's definitely a little bit of a, be able to show your personality a little bit, but I'll make note here that you like the rain. And then I think you'll like this one as well, our confetti, and you can tell me, but we have it here in Stitch Navy as well as Claret Red. Yeah, you like that? Okay. Great. So I'll make note of those two prints that we liked. And then I have two more prints here. We have our Paisley. So we have it here, Marina, Forged Gray, and Vintage Navy. All right. All right, so our last print, as I mentioned, our camo, Stitch Navy and Marina. Have y'all done some camo? I know a few years ago camo kind of took off. How it's kind of tapered off a little bit, but how have y'all done camo in the past? I see some camo hats over there. I didn't know how y'all done. It's very subtle looking. Okay. All right. Maybe just throw in a couple of those. You don't have to overpower them with that, but maybe just to fill in an order, or so to speak. But that'd be a good one. So I'll make note of that as well. All right. Next, we're going to get into a few of our what we call more of our daring pieces. We have our prints. Now here are a few stripes that we're going to have. And this is more for that guy that, is a little bit more daring, and I'm going to tell you why. So first we have our Cypress shirt, which you might look at this and say, oh, yeah, it's another stripe. Great. Stitch Navy, Merino. Two great looking shirts, 4-button, rounded pocket. All right, so what I'm going to show you here, you can get a little more daring with our Bonesman there underneath. Fantastic shirt. Put this on a mannequin, flip up the collar, you're good to go. Yeah, you bring up a great point. So yeah, you would have to obviously unbutton those buttons, but then when you flip the collar, obviously that Bonesman's going to show, but what you're asking is about washing it. So if a member does happen to come up and ask you, should you remove the button, and wash it that way? I personally do. To me, it makes it, you never know what's going to get in there. Wash it all. Why not? I know, some of my colleagues, they don't undo it. So that's fine. You can't go wrong either way. But what we do know is that once you put it back, that collar is going to be flat. You're not going to have it flipping up. So next we have our Newport. So this is actually the only shirt that doesn't have our underbutton. It's a knit collar. No knit collars. I understand. But a little bit of a, more of a daring shirt, but understand if it's not for everybody. So next we have our Santa Barbara. Some youthful engineered stripes there, 4-button. But again, both of these shirts in stitch blue and stitch navy, bonesman underneath. And our last shirt here is our Monterey. Very fun piece. Engineered stripe. And get the daring guy with the bonesman. So a few of those pieces, you mentioned, I know you like the Cypress, not on the Newport, right? Okay. And then Santa Barbara, Monterey, no on the Monterey. Okay, understand. All right, so, as you can tell, our stitch, our shirts there, fantastic. So what's a typical size run for you? One medium, one large. Okay. So about four normally, throw in a few smalls or extra larges or, double X's, something like that. Okay, great. Well, what I'd like to do is talk about our medium large sizing. So our size run actually goes small, medium, medium large, large, extra large, and then a few with the double X and maybe occasional triple X. But we do have that medium large sizing, and people always look at it like, oh, what is that? So if I ask you what's your number one selling glove, 9 times out of 10, a pro is going to tell me that it's their cadet medium large or their medium large. Would you agree? Yeah. So that medium large is for that guy that might be just a hair too big for that medium, but a little bit too small for that large. So that medium large shirt, it might just look like it's thrown in there, but it's thrown in there for a reason, and it's been very popular. So what I would recommend and what I'll do when I put this draft together, if that's okay, is that I'll include several of the medium large shirts in a few of those, especially our more popular ones, so that people can get accustomed to it and look at it and say, oh, that's great. So we'll throw in a few of those as well, and that way we're good to go and covering our bases on that. We can always special order or fill in if we need to. How's that sound? Great. All right. So fast forward here, and here's what I have here. I got like I said, we have 4 stories or 4 looks. I've done about 30 shirts in each look. How does that sound? So you're looking at about 120 polos. How's that sound? A little high, closer to 100. Okay, I'll knock off a few of those and I'll send you over a draft and we'll get this submitted. Okay, great. All right. So next, what I'd like to do is talk about our bottoms. So our bottoms program. I have it here in front of me as well as you, but if you circle back here to the front, we can kind of go over that bottoms program. So essentially it's 24 total units. So shorts or bottoms, and you can kind of pick what you want, and our shorts, speak for themselves, very techy, short. And then our pants, which you'll see here, are water repellent. So if you have some guys that are going to Bandon or going to, overseas to go play some golf, this pant, I'm actually wearing them today. It's got a fabulous stretch on them. It's a fantastic pant. As you can see, it beads up. And you're dry as a bone. So, oh yeah, you like that. So So how does that sound? We put in a few of those, with our bottoms program. We'll mix some of that along with our shorts here, which I can pull out for you. 9.5-inch inseam. There we go. I'm gonna do 8 and 8. We can always push the pants back later, and or 12 and 4. Okay, we'll do 12 and 4. All right. 34. Okay. All right, great. So I have those down, all set there. All right. I know it doesn't get a little bit, gets a little bit, I guess, cooler later in the year. So we're looking at maybe in October for a little bit cooler nights. But I'd like to go over the outerwear, and we'll be good. Grab a drink here. All right, first up we have our Speedster, which is the most popular outerwear piece. You can touch and feel that if you'd like. Very soft. It's actually lighter than our golf shirts, believe it or not. So it's a very lightweight piece. Put it over on a cooler morning, cooler evening, and you're good to go. So here I have it in Marina. I have it in silver, and then I also have it in claret red. We also offer it in stitch navy and in black. So next we have our Targa. Actually, first I'm going to do our Silver Arrow, which is becoming a little bit more popular than the Speedster at the moment. It's a little bit heavier herringbone, as you can tell. Herringbone fabric there. Metallic zipper, so it's going to stand out a little bit more, but a quarter zip. Herringbone design. It's a fantastic, little bit heavier piece than the Speedster, but a great fabric. That comes in stitch navy, and here I have it in heather gray. So next, like I mentioned, is our Targa. This one has actually been very popular, and it's a crew neck. So a lot of people say, why do you need a crew neck? Well, this is, with our collar stays and with our collars that sit perfectly, this is going to allow you to just throw this over on a cooler morning, cooler evening at dinner, and you can throw it on with a button down or whatever you like, but this is going to be perfect for that. It's a great layering piece. This comes in bluebell, stitch navy, and in melon. And then we have here our tag on it. If I can get it out. It has our dry release fabric. So as you can see here, it's going to dry up 4 times faster. It's going to hold its shape, moisture wicking, regulates your skin temperature. So it's a fantastic layering piece and one that you need to have. So next we have our Cayman. Metallic zipper there. We have our Explorer. No, not a fan. I understand. Okay. But you did like the Cayman. Okay, I'll make note of that. Next we have our Talladega sweater here, which is our merino kind of Italian wool there, or excuse me, Italian yarn. Fantastic, lightweight layering piece. This comes in stitch navy, and I have it here in stitch blue. Take a feel of that. Yeah, it's great. Probably a little bit later in the year. You're looking at 11/1 maybe for that time of year, especially here in the South. So next we have our Enzo. I don't have our racer jacket on me. It's certainly a fashion piece, but we do have it available. I just do not have it with me today. Our Enzo here we have in stitch navy and light charcoal. Oh, you saw those at another club? Did you like them? Yeah, okay. I will make note of that. it's a carryover, so it's been a very good seller for us. Next, we have our Sonoma vest. So I like to bring out both of our vests at the same time. So we have our Sonoma, which is a little bit of a, I guess, more of a tech vest, spandex, easy to play in. Just throw it right in your bag if need be. But a very, very good piece. And then we have our Cabrio vest, which is more of our fashion vest. It has our Thermore, which is here. It's going to keep you a lot more, a lot warmer throughout the plane. There's the tag there. You have a little Stitch branding there on the back, as you can see. And this comes in light charcoal, navy, and light blue. So fantastic piece. You can really dress up with this vest. Okay. Well, I'm glad you really enjoyed that, and I'll make all my notes. And like I said, I'm going to send a draft over this morning as far as the merchandising, and we can go from there. All right. Next, I'd like to do is our golf bags. So our golf bag program that we have it's 16 bags, and our golf bags really they come from a study and a history with our previous or one of our investors who went down to Seminole and just said, hey, look, what do you like in a bag? And so that's where we come with our SL1. So we have our SL1 golf bag, which is here, two-way divider there, single strap, the touring fabric, fantastic four pockets, great bag, great lightweight, 57 ounces. And then we have our SL2, which is new this year. The ingot program's still there, which I'll go over here in a minute. Have our hip pad protection. This is actually a dual strap system, interchangeable strap, so you can go from one strap to two. We have our insulated water bottle pocket. Still have our two side pockets. Four-way divider now. We listen to our customers, and not everybody has a caddy program. Not everybody likes to walk. So now you have your member bag. And as I mentioned before, we have our ingot program that you're very familiar with. Our ingots, are now going to be magnetized. So what's going to happen is you can order your bag however you want, but that bag is now going to be customizable. So let's say you bring in, with our bag program, we bring in 4 shipments of 4. So we have 16. Let's say on 4 of them, you don't do any ingots at all, and you just have them blank. Well, that member now can take that tag and go and scan the QR tag and QR code and go and takes you directly to stitchgolf.com and be able to make any sort of initials or anything like that and be able to place it on there. So then we'll ship that to you. You can also put the ingot with the logo on there, and then you can order your initials. So it's basically what we call a stock bag that is now customizable. So you can see here we have our SL1, as I mentioned first. I have it white, navy, black, and gray. And then we have our SL2 with a few more, better features, so to speak, more features with the water bottle pocket, 4-way divider. So fantastic bag. Both are really great. So we have a 4-6 shipment on these core colors at the top for the SL2, and then we have a 615 for these fashion colors here at the bottom. So what are your thoughts on that? Okay, great. That's fantastic. So, okay. Well, it's not much heavier. It's actually closer to 64 ounces. So it's only 7 ounces more. You're not going to really, tell the difference. Okay. So we'll do the core colors in each. Okay. So that's 7. So we're going to need 11 more. Okay, we'll double the SL2 colors. Okay, so that's okay. Perfect. So that gets us to 16, and we're good to go. So we'll do 4 shipments of 4. We'll do a 4-6, 5-6, 7-6, and 8-6. How's that sound? Okay, great. All right, next I'd like to talk about our head covers. So in the past, this is where our company started. We had our Stitch Lab head covers. So here, if we flip the page, we have a blank slate, and then you're able to choose what you want on your head cover. Everything between dancing logos, we have our just logos, and then we have our stripes. So you can do 1, 2, or 3 stripes. You can pick your color of your stripes and the detail that you want in your head cover. And as we flip the page, we have our different designs that we can come up with. So this right here allows you to come up with any sort of design that you would like for your head cover. And then we have obviously our logos here to the right with the Shamrock USA and the Bonesman. Those are our Stitch standard logos, and then we have our numbers as well. So it's a really fun way to kind of customize your head cover, whether it's for an event or whether it's just for your shop. It's a really, really great way. And the good thing about this is that these are turned around in 10 business days. So let's say you did 20 for your shop. You send them in, we get 20. You got 10 business days to get all 20 of them. You display them in your shop however you want. We'd suggest putting them on we have a waterfall that we can put them on, however you'd like to do it. Okay, so do 5. How about we do about 12, and that way, we'll do 12, and I'll send you a free waterfall stand. How's that sound? Okay, great. So we'll do 12, and then that way we have them, and then we can always special order them from there. Okay. Next, we have our Techno Wool knit head covers. You read that right. Technically not wool. So here, voted best in golf for 3 straight years. Hard to beat that really, but machine washable. Get a little mark on it, throw them in the washing machine. Good to go. You're not going to lose the shape. It's going to be stick on right now. Here, I'll throw you one. Yeah, it's heavier than you thought, right? Well, these are fantastic head covers. Got the palm on the side, and then you have our embellishment tag here that are flipped that you can tell on the one that you're holding. It's an easy way to kind of show your logo. These are fantastic to kind of what we call dress your game. We think knit head covers are very, very much underappreciated, and these, again, have been voted 3 years in a row by the best in golf. So we really take pride on these technically not wool. All right, so next we have alignment stick covers. You can throw those in for the junior program that you mentioned. We have a few accessories. We have the towel, valuables pouch, great event piece, and then we have our umbrella as well. And throw in a couple of hats with the looks that we do. I can certainly throw that in there. So next we have our ultimate garment bag, which you said you were very familiar with. So here you go. All right, so ultimate garment bag, drop the top feature. Opens up, as you can tell, great. Fold it up, put everything in there. These are a fantastic, travel piece, fantastic for an event, but really very popular. I know you brought in several last year, and looks like I don't see any in the shop, so you definitely probably want to bring those in this year, right? Okay. Great. We'll get those on order. And I don't like to talk about the UGB and then bring it into the Clubhouse Duffel, but this is kind of a smaller version, so to speak. It's not to discredit this Clubhouse Duffel, but it's more of a smaller version, because we know that, that UGB, you can put a lot more stuff in it. You got the garment bag, you got everything, you're ready to go. This is more for your 1 to 2 day trip. A little bit smaller, not a little bit smaller price, but it's just a little bit more convenient to carry for that 1 to 2 day trip, weekend trip, than it is for a 3 to 4 day golf trip. So this allows you to use that lower price point. Like I said, you're looking at $105, so almost $30 cheaper. We have that in black, navy, and gray. So next we have our roller duffel. This is the granddaddy of them all. It's basically UGB on wheels. So as you can tell here, we have our UGB garment bag that we can trifold and put in there. This basically comes on wheels. So again, higher price point. You're looking at 207, but a fantastic piece to maybe have for the shop, especially around Christmas time. Next, we have our Stitch Traveler, which you saw me bring in today that you were asking about. You know, come straight to work, got all your stuff in there ready to go. It's 4 o'clock. You want to clock out. You've got your stuff done for the day. You're going to hit the course. Fantastic piece for that guy that is coming straight from the office, going straight to work, or excuse me, going straight from work to the golf course. Next, we have our shoe bag, which in my opinion doubles as a shag bag. That comes in gray, black, and navy. It's got your 2 vents in there. You got a room for your socks, which you also can put golf balls in there. Not exactly sure how many it holds yet, but I would imagine right around 120 or so, maybe more. Next, we have our DOP kit. Everybody thinks, oh, how can you reinvent the DOP kit? Well, here you are. You can tell how deep it is in each side. So each side is a little bit deep. You could fit lots of many different items in there. Again, black, navy, and gray in those as well. Line tote. This is a great piece to maybe add on to something that you're doing with your member guest. We did this at a club that said, well, we're tired of coming home with a wedge, or the wives were tired of coming home with different, golf related stuff for the men. Pair this up and have the missus. She's going to be happy with this wine tote. This is a great piece to add on for that, extra little oomph onto the whole gift package. And add that on there, and then Mr. Smith brings it down, and Mrs. Smith is very happy with a wine tote. And last but not least, we have our super cold cooler. So we have our cold cooler here. It's going to probably not the best. I will advise you, it's probably not the best as a private club to keep in your shop, just because of the idea of it going on to the golf course. So maybe stay away from that. But again, a great piece to maybe have around the holiday season to kind of bring in a full reign of the accessories. Well, I again, thank you, Mr. Stitch, for having me today. We really, we covered a lot of ground, and like I said at the beginning of this meeting, this is your one-stop shop. So you're looking at you got 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to have a one-stop shop. You got apparel, you got events, you have your accessories, your golf bags, and your head covers. So you have it all. You come to Stitch, be happy to help in any way we can. I'm going to send these drafts over tonight. We'll get these on order, hopefully here in the next week or so. And like I said, this inventory is holding up right now, but, I want to make sure you get what you got, okay? So take care, and we'll be in touch soon, okay? Thank you.